everybody. I'm a voice in the darkness. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I'm Norman Wilner. I'm the senior film writer for Now Magazine, and it is my distinct pleasure to be subbing in at the last minute to introduce you to the actual talent involved with this. First, the producer of the film, Lainie Miller. And the only person in this room and possibly on the planet, who can claim to have worked with, I want to get this right, Boris Karloff, Martin Scorsese, James Cameron, Joe Dante, Roger Corman, Julie Corman, Roger Corman, and Jonathan Kaplan, and about 600 other names that I'm sure I'm forgetting. That guy, Dick Dillon. Set up the microphone. I'm going to monopolize for like 2 seconds, and I'll let you guys ask questions. So we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I was trying to figure out where it was I knew you from, and then I realized it was my entire life. Like, I've grown up watching you. Your films are essentially my entire adolescence, and then as I've continued and become even more of a film consumer, you're still there. Like, you won't go away. It's great. Every time you find something on TCM or AMC, oh yeah, he's in that too. Like, is there something you feel you missed out on? Is there one movie you wish you'd been in?
No, I think I got them all. But it's funny how these pictures will hold up for 50 and 60 years, and they don't seem to lose any of their charm.
Yeah, well, there's something really honest about the Corman films, certainly from the 50s and 60s, where there's absolutely no pretense. I mean, even movies like A Bucket of Blood, which are all about pretense, aren't pretentious themselves. It's just fun, like we're invited in.
Yeah, the pictures were made that way. We made them fast, we shot them fast, we shot them for low budgets, and now surprisingly, 50, 60 years later, they hold up.
Yeah, it's that Netflix thing, that long tail. Anything I wanted to find, I can just go look up, and I can get a DVD or I can watch it on streaming, and it's still pretty much exactly the way it looked then. They haven't really degraded. And the thing that comes through, this is what we were talking about before, and it's in the Q&A I ran in the paper this week, is there's an authenticity in the performance that I believe you, even when you're, pulling a gun on a monster.
I'm an honest guy.
Yeah, it comes through there. There's a certain kind of honesty that people respond to. I think that's what directors are responding to as well. Like, they cast you, and directors have told me this, they cast you because they know you can deliver.
Yeah, but I was hired for the part. They liked me, they hired me again. That was it. It's very simple.
Yeah, and it's like films like The Howling and Terminator. You're our guy. You're sort of in The Howling. You're the one who delivers all the, like, it's in the film. You deliver all the exposition in one scene. In The Terror, you have to explain what's going on.
The Terror is beautiful. That's like the 1 minute scene that goes on and on and on, and I keep telling what's happening to this story.
Yeah, and this was all sort of retcon. They figured it out after the fact and gave you the script to read.
No, they was after we were shooting for a couple of days, and they just realized that they're not going to understand this picture at all. And they put the scene in afterwards.
Yeah, but no, that's what I mean. Like, they gave you this huge script where you had to explain all this dialogue.
Oh yeah. Poor Jack Nicholson.
He knew what he was getting into. So honestly, I mean, you guys have just seen the movie, so you probably have even more vivid questions than I do. And I got to ask mine before, so if there's anybody who wants to start off, just raise a hand for either Dick or Lainie about the process of the film. Yes, please.
First of all, welcome to Toronto. Love the movie. How long did it take to make?
How
long did the movie take to make? That's
this movie. It was in production now for 3 years.
Wow.
The actual footage, some of it was, was already shot. That's obvious. Was the thing, but they had thousands of clips, and they had to put them all together and make sense out of it. Elijah Drenner, our director, and editor. He's a brilliant guy. He did it all by himself. He made this picture come alive, but it's been 3 years.
And Lainie, you've been doing a great deal of steering of that over those 3 years as a producer.
Well, yeah, it came to me, though, in a different way. There is a partner of ours who is in Germany, and he had licensed a bunch of Corman's films. And for one of them, particularly War of the Satellites, he wanted a small piece as an extra. So he went to Elijah, and he asked Elijah, can you do a bio, maybe 5-10 minutes of Dick Miller? And he said, oh, sure, you can do that. So he approached us about that, and he took an interview, and then he went out to speak to some of the directors, and everybody decided, wait a minute, this guy's got a huge career. It shouldn't be an extra. It needs to be something more. So Elijah came back to me because while he's a wonderful director, he hasn't produced much. He knew that that's what I was doing. He said, would you produce this? And I said, sure, I'll produce it. So we set off to do that, and Dick's right. It was 3 years. We didn't tell him in the beginning it was going to be 3 years because we didn't know either.
So as far as clearances go for the clips, I mean, it was just paperwork and
Oh,
filing and
no, it
assembly?
wasn't just paperwork. That's probably the biggest ordeal that I personally had. I had to look at every clip, second by second, and make a log. Who it belonged to, whether it was fair use, whether it was part of a trailer, yada, yada, yada. Came out to about 75, 79 pages, this document, and off you go to the fair use attorneys. Otherwise, you're going to have every studio down your neck. So, other than that, it was a breeze.
Well, I mean, just watching the credit list, the titles in the credit roll, it's pretty much the history of American independent cinema.
Yeah.
So, is there, like, now have you guys found some additional perspective? Was there something that you, like, is there a part that you'd forgotten you loved so much? Was there any discovery over the course of making the documentary? Did you just look back at your own career and think, oh yeah, that was good too?
If you're looking for me, if you mean, was anything left out of it? Yes, tons and tons.
Well, it would have to be. Well, you were telling me about the TV work too earlier, that you were in 4 series?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you guys
were
have-
in
you
4
guys-
series.
Yeah. Well, you guys have both talked about Fame as something that didn't make it into the
Fame,
picture.
he did The Flash, he did Whirlybirds, and he did Oh Susanna. If anybody is old enough to remember Oh Susanna, he was the radio operator.
I had to look it up.
Yeah.
But it's really more about the iconic movie presence that the documentary is. So is there a second doc in the works about the TV work, or just like a DVD supplement or something?
No. This
Well, think about it.
Never seen that.
3 more years is too much. Maybe my line about this is my last film may be right, because I don't know about now, unless of course if the phone rings.
You can never say never. Yes, sir in the back, and then we'll get to you.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm a fan. And I'm wondering if you ever got a phone call from a production company up in Canada. Did you ever come and do a film of this one?
Yes, he would.
Would you be willing? I mean, maybe not in winter.
And this summer I'll come back and we'll start another one. It's fun to leave California with 85 degrees temperature and settle down here for about 20 degrees temperature. I'm thrilled to do it.
Lainie's actually from Toronto, and when we spoke a couple of weeks ago, I actually had to reassure them that by this point in the season it would be better. So I've lied to these nice people. And everybody here knows it too. That's the worst part. It's like, well, I mean, I thought it actually would be better. It's almost April, but no, this is hell, and we're very sorry. Someone back there, and then you said yes. Yeah, no, you please.
Hi there. First of all, thank you so much for coming. I've been
My pleasure.
been a fan of yours since I was a kid, since before I knew your name was Dick Miller. But one of the remarkable things that we knew before the movie, but you see in the movie, was you have these strong working relationships with people like Roger Corman and Joe Dante. What's it like having that relationship with Joe Dante, who's put you in basically everything he's done, and you've elevated everything he's done? And are you still in touch with him? And just what's it like being someone like, you know, his man?
First of all, it's a thrill knowing Joe. He's a guy, a young director. I worked for him. I didn't even know who he was. And when another picture came up after that, he said, would I work with him again? With pleasure. This guy has become like a son to me. He's always been there for me. And I just think he's great. I've enjoyed working with him as a director too.
And he finds ways to, I mean, there are times when I'm watching his movies where I just sort of, when you show up, I realize, oh yeah, of course, I was just waiting for it. I just didn't even think about it because I fully expect you to be there now.
Yeah, I'm an excitement to myself.
Yes, rightly so. You, sir, yes.
If there was one film that you can re-edit and re-release, which one would it be?
Re-edit.
Re-release.
Pulp Fiction.
I really want to see that footage.
Oh, you'd love it. I don't know if you've heard the whole story, but I was invited to the cast and crew screening, of course, when the picture was finished. And they wouldn't let me into the studio. I think it was on Universal Lot. And I finally talked my way in, and I'm getting there. And I went over to, what's his name again?
Quentin?
Quentin. And I said, I started to talk to him, and he just turned and he said, oh, by the way, you're not in the picture. And it's just scared the daylights out of me. That was it. That's how I found out about it. I would shoot it again.
I can't even imagine Quentin Tarantino cutting anything. All of his movies are 2.5 hours long.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But it's a mystery. He apologized. He stuck it on the extra stuff at the end of the picture on the DVD.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yes?
Speaking of cutting out, there was a rumor that when Joe Dante shot The Burbs that you and Robert Picardo were supposed to end up in the trunk instead of the trunk full of skulls. Did you shoot that scene, or was it just a gag that they thought of and never shot?
No, it's part gag, part truth. The thing was that they shot it in sequence. I think I just have a little bit in the picture where he says that we'll be able to add the kind of ending we want. They didn't know how they were going to end the picture, and it was just one of the ideas.
No, so you would have been a Klopek victim if they'd gone that way.
Yeah, I would have. That's as good as any.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's an honor to get killed in these movies too. Like you're the first person Schwarzenegger kills in The Terminator.
Well, I get killed in every picture. I've really done about half my pictures. I get killed, and
It's a badge of honor.
what?
It becomes a badge of honor.
It's a sign of something.
Yes, all the way in the back and then halfway down. No, you first, sir.
One of the things about the film is your sense of professionalism. And is there any scene that where you needed, well, what's the most takes you ever needed for a scene?
So given your professionalism and how you deliver, what are the most number of takes you've ever had needed for a scene?
Well, of course, like I say in the picture, the scene where the girls are undressed, I'd like to do about 17, 18 takes. And just, I keep blowing that one line. It's terrible.
But was there ever a role where you sort of feel like you needed more time
No,
to
I
figure
didn't
it out?
need any. That's that's the other reason why I might have been hired to shoot all these pictures. Everything was one take.
They knew they could count on you. They knew they could count on you to do it in one.
Yeah, that was,
I think you hear about Kubrick or Michael Mann wearing their actors down by doing 60 takes, so by the time you get there, you're just spitting it out.
I would die if I had to work on one of those pictures.
I'd still love to see it, even if it's sadistic of me. Yes, you, sir.
I was looking at War of the Satellites last night, and not only because you've got top billing in that, I really think it would be great to have it as a companion piece for the documentary, because you actually are, fighting the Archons, and the whole nature of the Archons, you can't see them, you don't know where they are, and then they're the guys standing next to you, and they look exactly like somebody you've known all your life, and then you end up defeating them and opening up the universe for everybody. It's the war on terror. I know that none of your films
He's
are
telling the whole
supposed
picture.
to be-
It's a lot easier than asking a question.
No, I was just, I did want, I did have a question about that.
You forgot it.
But it seems more or less trivial in the fact that there's this aspect of the impact of the picture now as opposed to when it came out. Roger Corman finds that he doesn't think that it even makes sense, and it makes perfect sense.
Well, there's the communist allegory at the time, right? In the 50s, that's what it would have been about. But now it's just as easily applicable to...
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ISIL. There's no question about it. The Archons are ISIL.
I think it's this. I think a lot of the appeal of these films is how simple they are, really, because then you can imprint almost anything on it. You can overlay a story on it. There's yeah, exactly. It's whatever the menace is that's being trumped up, whatever the most obvious political boogeyman is. They fit in really nicely.
This is like all of the different aspects of it. They look exactly like the guy standing next to you because they are.
Well, also because they don't have the money to do monsters. So you have to make it look like the guy next to you. Like, it's brilliant in its simplicity.
But your comment is well taken from another standpoint. In Germany, this all started with War of the Satellites. And when that partner of ours came up with, he needed to have a bio of Dick to go with it, it was the birth of this documentary. So it would make sense to have that as a companion piece. And at some point, I'm sure people will package those things together.
Blu-ray double feature, that kind of thing.
Well, right now, this particular one is going to hit VOD and going to come out
May 19th.
May 19th on DVD, and it has a bunch of extras. You'll love it.
We see. Well, are there additional clips? Are there additional footage? Tease us. Tell us what you got.
There's outtakes, and there's additional stuff that doesn't appear in it, and we even have a piece on Rick Baker.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
You gotta have the added value. Absolutely. Do we have time for one more? Yes, Yusuf.
Hi, welcome to Toronto. Just wondering if you had any stories you could share about working with Barbara Morris. She was your co-star in Bucket of Blood.
Barbara Morris, there's not much I can say about her. She was a hell of an actress, a very sad case. I guess when she died, it was just a shock. She was a good girl.
Well, we have the movie. I mean, we have her there forever, so at least there's a weird in a movie that's about immortality that it should grant someone that the same way. This is what they pay me for, metaphors. But that'll be our time, so thank you guys so much for coming out. Dick and Lainie Miller. Are we doing that right now? Are we rolling right into it? Oh, well, okay, so one quick round of applause, please, for the Millers.
Just before we do that, I just wanted to say, over there is Elle Schneider. She shot this for us. She was photographer, and I just thought it would be nice that you knew.
Good job.
And also for those people that want to stay to see Little Shop of Horrors with Dick, obviously, and Jack Nicholson, so maybe you guys can intro that film.
Little Shop of Horrors. No, come on. It's a nice picture. It's a hell of a picture. I wish I had stayed around when it was, oh God. It's not a picture I want to reshoot.
Okay, I've always wanted to do this. And now, your second feature. I love that. I've never got the chance. Yeah. The Little Shop of Horrors. You're seeing it in a movie theater in 2015. What a fantastic year to be alive. Please, enjoy the film. It's really weird and fun. No singing, unfortunately.